And I was just thinking of everything that I um, knew and all the tips and products that I have used in the past that has helped me with accessibility. And so I wanted to share that. And I wanted to start a YouTube channel since probably in high school. And when I was pregnant and I decided to stay at home and become a stay-at-home mom, I actually said this would be a great opportunity to start the YouTube channel, and that's what I did. And starting in 2000, I think it was 2018 or 17. I'm not quite sure, but it's been a few years, and so I just share a lot of technology, daily living tips, and just encouragement or just things that I want to share. And that's actually how I started my YouTube channel.
Excellent. Cool. Cool. And do you also have a podcast? Do you have a podcasting side of the YouTube?
No, I don't have a podcast. I do have an interview series, which I host just on the YouTube channel. Um,
Hmm.
and at least I'm going to start that back up. Me and my husband, my family has been going through a lot recently. So I actually just came back from a bit of a break off of YouTube. But I'm going to be starting that up again soon.
Excellent. Good. Cool. Cool. Who have been some what have been some interesting interviews you've done in the past in that series?
I have actually been doing interviews with other blind and visually impaired YouTubers, and I, I hold on. There was one who is totally blind, and she's an artist. She does acrylic painting, and that was very interesting, as
Hmm.
well as now I can't remember who I did interviews with, but I do want to do an interview with Sam from The Blind Life, and possibly even in the future, Molly Burke. That would be interesting.
Funny you name drop. That's fine. I have um that's I'll tell you off the air. That's I'll give you more information about that later. That's those are two very interesting people. Yeah, there are some YouTubers who are not blind, who are sighted, I guess, who I wouldn't mind interviewing either, just because they're really cool. Um, in the remaining and the other thing, Carrie, I feel bad. You came in. It's not your fault, but you came in slightly late with we got hung up with the audio at first. You have about 6 minutes, and then I'm going to need to kind of run. So basically, where would you like to end our interview today? And by the way, I want to review with the listener that everything I said today is my opinion about society and about the world. Nothing I said was a fact. And I certainly hope, Carrie, that none of this bothered you, by the way.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely not. We can
thank,
share our disagreements or our
thank
agreements.
you, thank you. I do understand that my opinions are sometimes a bit abrasive, especially about this kind of thing, these frustrating things. Other topics I'm a little lighter, but I think this is a serious one where I need to express and explain why I'm so frustrated about this. And listener, I hope you can understand and relate to it, you know? But Carrie, why don't you end us give some concluding thoughts today?
Well, honestly, I understand everything that you have pointed out, and it can really be frustrating and often very offensive. But at the same time, if we put that aside, I think there are times where we can educate people who are open. Number one, that's the biggest issue, to being open to being corrected on their ideas about disability and being visually impaired. So I think that if we take that time to actually talk to them and not just jump off the wall or just walk away, but take a little bit of time to just talk to them and tell them our experiences, and that they shouldn't make these kinds of assumptions about whatever disability, it could affect them in a positive way. And next time that they meet somebody who's blind or visually impaired, they'll remember what you said, hopefully, and they will react in a better way.
One can only hope. One can only as as I say, I have found that people who, some of these people who need all these corrections are also people who just are not really the type to make the changes for themselves. So it's kind of a circular argument, but I don't know. I'm not seeing the changes that need to be made um, for a lot of these issues with public transportation, dealing with people in public places. It's just you know
Well, I think it's something of a long-term goal. I mean, obviously, it's not going to change tomorrow, but if you look back decades ago, I think that society has progressed. And so we can only hope that as time passes, that it'll get better.
we can only hope. What types of things do you do in your free time, by the way?
Free time, being a mom and a
Yeah.
content creator and having free time. No, I do like to read. I
Hmm.
listen to audiobooks all the time, music sometimes, and I do like with my mom. We sing. She plays the piano. I play the flute occasionally.
No, I
Um,
played the I played the flute for a long time,
oh,
all
really?
through schooling and university. Yeah. Hmm.
Wow, I've played since I was in third grade, and I was in marching band, and we went to Disney World and marched there. And I just like going on the computer as well, writing, whether it's just watching YouTube, browsing, that kind of thing. And
Well,
gardening, a little bit of gardening. We've been trying to grow some tomatoes over here, but
my last guest really likes gardening, in fact. So that's interesting. That's great.
we've been trying to, but we haven't met the too much success with the larger tomatoes. But
Yeah, it's
mm.
tricky. It's tricky. Every time my parents tried to set up tomatoes, the squirrels would stop by and eat the tomatoes before we could eat the tomatoes.
When we
That's
first planted them, there were two tomato plants missing, the whole plant.
that's
Somebody
funny.
walked away with it.
Someone, some squirrel, probably. You've been listening. You've been listening. By the way, thank you, Carrie. I do need to go. I will get in touch with you a little later today. You've been listening to Aaron's Opinion, the podcast for blind people. Don't forget, you can listen to Aaron's Opinion almost anywhere you get your podcast, on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter and on Patreon. Have a good day today and a great day tomorrow.